Hi guys, Mrs. Delisin here. Welcome to another lesson of Algebra 2. Today's lesson is how to solve nth root and rational exponent equations. We will also learn how to check nth root and rational exponent equations for extraneous solution. So let's start with a cube root of 3x plus 2 plus 1 equal to 0. So our goal is to solve this little x right here, to get rid of everything and leave x alone. We're going to start with getting rid of the positive one. So of course we will subtract 1 on both sides, and we already know that. That is something we are so familiar with. That's 3x plus 2 equals a negative 1. Okay? And then you know how to get rid of the square root. We square both sides. But because this one is no longer a square root, it's a cube root, so we cube, to get rid of it, we cube both sides of the equation. So I'm going to cube there. I'm going to cube there. And that will eliminate my cube root. So I am left with 3x plus 2 equals negative 1 cubed. So that's negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. And of course, that is also still a negative 1. And then I will subtract 2 on both sides. That's 3x equals negative 3. I'll divide 3 on both sides. I'll end up with x equals negative 1. But we have to check if negative 1 would really work. So I am going to plug in negative 1 into my left side and to my right side equation. On my right side, I have a big 0, so I don't have to touch that. But I do have to plug in the x value into, remember now, the 1 is outside. I have to plug in this negative 1 into the x to see if the whole entire thing would be equal to 0. So that's 3 times negative 1 plus 2 plus 1. That is 3 times negative 1, negative 3 plus 2 plus 1. The cube root of negative 3 plus 1 is negative 1 plus 1. And I could simplify this, right? And my goal is to get a cube. My goal is to cube that. I already have that there. You see this? So I could just copy that again. And I have negative 1 cubed. Right? Because negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 again. Right? And the reason for me doing that is so that I could cancel the 3's. And I would be left out with negative 1 plus 1. And again, that's a 0 equals a 0. Because the left and the right side are equal to each other, my answer is negative 1. So that means negative 1 works. It's not an extraneous solution. Okay, number 2. I would have to add 9. Let's add 9 on both sides. I am going to have 3 times the fourth root of 2x plus 6 equals 12, because 3 plus 9 is 12. I am going to get rid of the 3 by dividing 3 on both sides. So I am left with 4. 2x plus 6 equals 4. And again, to get rid of the fourth, I will raise the whole entire both left and right equation by 4. That is cancel. You're left with 2x plus 6. 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. 4 to the power of 4 is 256. You'll subtract 6 on both sides. You'll get 200. Oops. There you go. 250. You divide x on both sides. 250 divide 2 on both sides. You have 250 divided by 2 is 125. And again, you are going to check both left and right side of the equation. So left, right. Okay. On my right, I have a 3. I'm not going to touch that because 3 is a 3. But on my left side, I would have to plug in the 125. So let us be careful on plugging that in and make sure we are actually solving or plugging in the numbers correctly. And it's very critical that you make sure that the negative 9 is outside of the radical. So that's fourth root. 2 times 125 is 250. 250 plus 6 is 256 minus 9. You see how this, usually what I would do is I would do 256 and I would, you see what I'm doing? I am making a factor tree. But in this case, I don't have to because I already know what is 256. It's 4 to the power of 4. Yeah, so what I will do is I would write that as a 4 to the power of 4. And that will cancel this. You are left with 4 minus 9. So 12 minus 9 is 3 on the left, 3 on the right. So 125 is our final answer. Okay, moving on. What do you do here? Do you add 6 on both sides? So that is 3, 5x minus 1 to the power of 1/3 equals 6. I think the next step would be dividing by 3. So divide 3 on both sides. So 5x minus 1 to the power of 1/3 equals 2. How do you get rid of the 1/3? What do you multiply to the 1/3 so it could be equal to what? You multiply the 1/3 by 3, isn't it? So what you're going to do is multiply that by 3 and raise that to the power 3. Okay, remember now, I am not going to do 2 times 3, okay? Because I did not multiply by 3 into this. The 3 is in the power. Because currently right now, the 2 has a power of 1. And I'm going to multiply that with 3. Does that make sense? Okay? So that is now gone. And you are left with 5x minus 1 equals 2 times 2 times 2. That's an 8. I'll add 1 on both sides. You have 5x equals 9. Divide by 5 on both sides. You'll have 9 over 5. So let us put that into action. I have a big 0 on the other side of my equation. Let me check. 3, 5. Can I plug in now? 9 over 5 minus 1 to the power of 1/3 minus 6. And 3. 5 times 9 over 5 is 45 over 5. Or really, that's just 9. Minus 1 to the power of 1/3 minus 6. 3, 8, 9 minus 1 to the power of 1/3 minus 6. Okay? You're going to simplify 8. So that's 8 is 4 and 2. 4 is 2 and 2. So 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. Or you already have that. You already have that over here. That 2 to the power of 3 is equal to 8. So I'm going to write 8 into 2 to the power of 3 to the power of 1/3 minus 6. Okay, and we have learned this one already on the previous lesson. And that's why it's very important that you watch the previous lessons before watching this video. So this property is called power of a power, that we can just multiply our two exponents. So that's 3 times 1/3. That's just 1, right? So that's canceled. You're left with 3 minus 3 times 2 minus 6. That's 6 minus 6, that's a 0. So 0 on the left, 0 on the right. So 9 over 5 is our final answer. Okay, is it the last example? Last example. So I think we need a space in here. So that's just 0 equals 0. Okay, what do we do first? We have to get rid of the 4 because this is not 4 times 7. 4 times the parenthesis, right? It's a 4 minus. So in order for me to get rid of the 4, I would have to add 4 on both sides, right? Because it's a 4 minus. So I'd add 4 on both sides. That would then, that would leave our negative in there. All right, so we will subtract 4 on both sides. So we'll do minus 4 minus 4. We are going to have negative 7 minus x to the power of 1/4 equals negative 4. And then we're going to get rid of the minus, so we can then divide negative on both sides. So that's 7 minus x to the power of 1/4 equals positive 4. Right? Does that make sense? And then we want to get rid of the 1/4. So we will multiply that by 4. So because you multiply the exponent by 4, you would have to multiply the exponent of this by 4. So you have to raise that to the power of 4. So this is then gone. You are left with 7 minus x equals 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. We did that earlier. That's 256. We will subtract 7 on both sides. So we are going to end up with negative x equals 249 because 256 minus 7. We divide negative on both sides. So we are going to end up with negative 249. Okay. We are going to check. We have a 0 on the right. So 4 minus 7 minus, let me put, minus 249 to the power of 1/4. This is 4 minus 7 minus negative 249 is technically saying 7 plus 249, right? So that is 256 to the power of 1/4. 4 minus, I can rewrite 256. So technically what I would do is I would do 256 and then I'm going to make a 3 out of it. But I don't have to because I already have that over here. So this is 4 to the power of 4. And this is going to power of a power. You can multiply the 4 times 1/4. That's 4 times 1/4 isn't it a 1? So that is going to be just 4. So 0 on the left, 0 on the right. So 249 would be our final answer. Okay? That's it. I hope you are going to have fun doing your homework. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.